Good afternoon from Los Angeles and happy Thursday. It's Alyssa Corum and Ken Shreve here with a look at the stock market today. And on today's show, we're going to be analyzing the chart action of Chipotle as well as Fortinet and Autodesk. But first, we want to take a look at the major indexes, even though it's hard to look right now. But the NASDAQ finished down about 1.6%. We had the S&P 500 close down about 1.2%. The Dow down about 1.1%. Small caps, the Russell 2000 down about 2.2%. So a pretty bad day all around.
Well, it was another day of institutional selling, but there was some buying headed into the close. I mean, the Dow was down about 440 points intraday. Looks like it ended down just under 300 points. So that's the silver lining. But the market is still in a correction. There's a lot of broken stock charts out there at this point. We had kind of been wobbling, seeing some decent charts, a lot of unhealthy charts, but some of these decent looking charts don't look so good anymore. So
exactly.
It's kind of a rough environment for stocks. We're in a correction, and we saw another day of institutional selling today.
That's right. And not to toot our own horns too much, but I mean, we have been bracing for this for quite a while now, even when we saw that 3-day streak of gains getting back above the 50-day line. Still being cautious, and it looks like that was very warranted at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the NASDAQ right now looks like a test of the 200-day moving average is in the cards. It took out its May 13th intraday low, so that brings the potential of more downside into play. So market definitely in worry mode with China trade talks kind of dragging on. The market kind of wondering, when that is going to be resolved. A big sell-off in oil today, and then bond inflows. Boy, the bond market is just going crazy.
Right.
People buying bonds. The 10-year Treasury yield took another big hit today, lowest level since October 2017. So not a great environment for stocks right now.
That's right. Well, let's take a look at a few individual names and focus on how you should be handling your portfolio when you see some of these technical signals. We're seeing Chipotle break below a key technical level today with a nearly 6% loss in heavy volume, and we have BMO Capital Markets downgrading Chipotle to underperform due to higher cost of pork due to a breakout of swine fever in Africa and China. So in addition to the broader market conditions, Chipotle getting hit with an underperform rating.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of sometimes stay the course during a market correction, but if you're holding growth stocks in your portfolio, it's really portfolio management is very important. So Chipotle flashed a clear sell signal today with a break below its 50-day moving average. You can see a powerful breakout for the stock when the company reported earnings a couple of quarters ago. So it's still holding above that breakout area, but big sellers in the stock today, and it's definitely a sell signal, and okay to lock in gains here amid some pretty serious institutional selling in the stock today.
Exactly, because when you see a break of the 50-day line like this, even if it does start to continue to climb here, that 50-day line could turn into a resistance level, but the momentum is obviously not in Chipotle's favor right now.
No, definitely not. Big sellers in the stock. It closed near its session low, and it was also a gap below the 50-day. So volume was very, very heavy early in the stock. Definitely some big investors selling Chipotle today.
All right, well, let's flip our attention to Fortinet in the cybersecurity software group, which actually has produced a lot of leaders, but Fortinet Fortinet not really among them at this point after gapping below its 50-day line on earnings, continuing to produce losses here, and it's now below its 200-day line. So, looking back at Chipotle here, this shows you what could happen to a stock after that gap below the 50-day.
Well, like you mentioned a few weeks ago, Fortinet gapped below its 50-day moving average on earnings, and it really wasn't able to stage much of a rally attempt. And then look at what the stock did today, just a big break of the 200-day moving average. So it is a good example when you start to see early signs of institutional selling in a stock, it can often presage even more. And that's what happened in Fortinet when it initially gapped below the 50-day moving average. Tried to rally a little bit, but then big rough day for the stock. Today breaks long-term support. So
yeah, that's right. Now Chipotle was well extended, and is still, even with the gap below the 50-day, well extended beyond its last buy point. But this shows you that you always want to limit your losses, cap those losses at 7 to 8% below a buy point, and even less when we're in a correction.
Yeah, I mean, here again, the sell signal was the gap below the 50-day moving average, and if you're still in the stock today, it was kind of not such a great day. So again, paying attention to early signs of heavy volume selling in a stock is a good opportunity often to get out of the way and just kind of lock in some gains.
All right, well, elsewhere in the software sector, we have Autodesk, which is reporting earnings after the close, so we'll be keeping an eye on that stock for a move. But in the regular session, it was able to find support at its 50-day line right around a buy point. So that's relatively positive. And we do have a software peer, Synopsys, which was able to move higher on its quarterly earnings report. But it looks like at least the early reaction to Autodesk earnings is not positive, with shares down about 7.4% in extended trading.
Yeah, so the daily chart of Autodesk was actually looking okay headed into earnings during a time when a lot of stocks are below their 50-day moving averages. You can see Autodesk closed sharply lower today, but held support. The stock does appear to be lower in after hours, but it was interesting to see Synopsys, another maker of computer-aided design software and industry group peer of Autodesk. Late Thursday, Synopsys reported earnings. It was one of the top gainers in the NASDAQ 100 today. So we'll have to see what the results look like at Autodesk, but it was sort of the one last standing growth stock that was holding support. But what we say, a market in correction normally brings everything down with it. So
that's right. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow with this stock, but right now the early reaction not too favorable for Autodesk. All right, everyone. I guess to close out the day, it is a tough environment out there, but as long as you abide by the rules that you have set out for yourself, your trading rules for buying and selling, you should be able to hold tight with the turbulence that we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, we write about buy rules and sell rules every day, and whether you're in a confirmed uptrend and the market tide is flowing positive and a lot of stocks are going up and breaking out, there are opportunities to profit there. But when the market's in a correction, it's best to just stay out of the way and wait for renewed signs of strength. And we'll see it at some point. It could happen sooner. It may take a while, but we'll know when it happens.
That's right. We'll be keeping our eyes peeled for that. And for more analysis of the market as well as some current stocks, we do have our latest episode of the Investing with IBD podcast out now. Arusha and William O'Neill protege David Ryan broke down the current market action as well as post-analysis for stocks. So, maybe you are buying at the wrong time or selling at the wrong time. Always good to analyze your trades after the fact.
Well, I mean, post-analysis is something that a lot of people don't do, but it's kind of front and center in how to make money in stocks. Bill O'Neill's book, Post-Analysis, is just, it helps you, not make the same mistake twice,
right,
which is very, very important. So post-analysis is important, and that's one topic that they'll be addressing.
Exactly. So check out investors.com/podcast for all the details on how to subscribe and get the latest episode. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.